There's nothing artificial about job loss. I'm Michael Smerconish in the Philly burbs. AI is no longer an abstract threat. It's causing job loss right now, and the headlines, they tell the story. The Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, on Wednesday released a study that found that artificial intelligence can already replace 11.7% of the U.S. labor market, or as much as $1.2 trillion in wages across finance, healthcare, and professional services. The New York Times recently reported that Amazon is on the cusp of replacing what would be 600,000 warehouse jobs with robots and plans to automate 75% of its operations. CNBC reporting that Salesforce, Walmart, Paramount, UPS, YouTube, and Meta have all announced new rounds of layoffs attributable to AI, with nearly 1 million job cuts nationwide this year. That's the job loss that we can measure. Now consider what some are predicting about the future. Goldman Sachs estimating that 6 to 7% of the U.S. workforce could be displaced due to AI adoption. They do note, however, that the impact may only be transitory because new opportunities created by AI might ultimately put people to work in other capacities. A report by the McKinsey Global Institute finding that AI could displace 40% of American jobs due to automation by 2030. That analysis found that robots and AI agents could automate more than half of U.S. work hours, both manual and cognitive, using technology that's available today if companies redesigned how they'll do things in the future. The World Economic Forum projecting that 92 million jobs worldwide may be displaced by 2030. Ford's CEO saying that AI could replace half of all white-collar workers there. NYU professor Scott Galloway predicting that AI will hit middle management first, noting that 6% dropped in managers at public companies since 2022. So here we are, AI eliminating jobs, more automation coming. If millions of people lose work, how will they support themselves? This is where an idea from the 2020 presidential campaign returns to the conversation. Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The concept, pretty straightforward. Every American adult would receive a set check each month. For Cook County, Illinois, which includes Chicago, this concept just became reality. The Cook County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved its 2026 budget proposal just this month. It includes $7.5 million for a guaranteed basic income program. Commissioners approved it after the success of a pilot program where the county provided $500 a month to 3,200 households over 2 years. Survey findings based on that pilot revealed that 94% of the program recipients used the funds to address financial emergencies. 75% reported feeling more financially secure. 70% said that the program had a positive impact on mental health. Of course, there's the question of how do you pay for it? In the case of Cook County, as a result of the decrease in commercial real estate values, everybody's property taxes are now sky high. In Chicago, rising 16.7%, the largest jump in at least 30 years. West Garfield Park saw an increase of 133%, North Lawndale 99%, Englewood 82.5%. And there's pushback from the Illinois Policy Institute, which cites concerns about workforce and income effects. Quote, Cook County is making its guaranteed income pilot permanent and committing millions to a failed strategy already shown to leave people with less work experience and lower earnings. Back in 2020, it was presidential candidate Andrew Yang who called his version of universal basic income the Freedom Dividend, specifically $1,000 per month, no work requirements, no means testing, a direct payment to help people cover bills, weather economic transitions, and adapt to a job market reshaped by technology. Andrew Yang joins me now. Andrew, nice to have you back. I pulled a profile of you from 2018 when you were just on the cusp of announcing your candidacy. Here's a quote that you provided to the author of the piece. You said, all you need is self-driving cars to destabilize society. In a few years, we're going to have 1 million truck drivers out of work who are 94% male with an average level of education of high school or 1 year of college. That one innovation will be enough to create riots in the street. And we're about to do the same thing to retail workers, call center workers, fast food workers, insurance companies, and accounting firms. It was 7 years ago. How is that quote aging?
It's aging very, very well, unfortunately, Michael. I'm so glad that we're having this conversation. 44% of American jobs are either repetitive manual or repetitive cognitive, and thus could be subject to AI and automation, and we're seeing that unfold right now. It's heartbreaking for me because I feel we could be doing much, much more for the millions of Americans who are going to be displaced.
I know that Cook County is just a microcosm, but I'm sure in hearing about their experience, people are wondering, okay, Andrew Yang, we're on board. Now we get it. What you saw 7 years ago, the rest of us see, but how do we pay for it?
The CEO of Anthropic, Dario Amodei, just raised his hand and said, you guys should tax us, the AI firms. And right now, hundreds of billions of dollars of value is being realized by Anthropic and these other firms on the back, by the way, of data that we all provided unwittingly and didn't agree to it. But it's trillions of dollars of value, and most Americans aren't going to see a dime of that. So if you have the CEO of an AI company saying you should tax us, I think we should take him up on his suggestion. And if you have an AI tax or a compute tax, you get to very big numbers very quickly.
So they're now referring to the Magnificent Seven, or the S&P 493 instead of the S&P 500. I'm going to put a graph on the screen right now for the benefit of everybody at home. The Washington Post had this coverage. The point was that if you strip out Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, Nvidia, and Tesla, then, the market's doing okay, but the market surely isn't doing what it's doing when you include those seven. And I guess my question for Andrew Yang is, what happens if that is a bubble and it bursts? Then how do you fund the Freedom Dividend or universal basic income?
Well, right now, a lot of the value that's getting generated is being hoarded or held by a handful of companies, Michael. I think you're right that we should be trying to spread those value gains more broadly across the market and to people. Right now, US GDP is around $85,000 per person and trending upward, because regardless of whether AI as an investment thesis is a little bit overhyped, you know that it's going to have a positive effect on GDP. So if you have 85,000 ahead, then having $12,000 a year, which I proposed in 2020, actually seems pretty modest and reasonable. And that's going to be affordable regardless of what happens with some of these firms' valuations.
As you envisioned the Freedom Dividend, there was no means testing. Everybody gets a check, whatever that amount might be. What becomes of other federal assistance?
Well, I intended the Freedom Dividend to try and clear up and clean up some of the bureaucracy and administration that's currently being applied. I spoke to a disabled woman in Iowa during the campaign, and she said she wants to volunteer in her community, but she's afraid to because she's afraid to lose her disability payments. And I think most people looking at that situation would say, well, that's not right. Like, the intention is not to force this woman to stay home. So if you can put this into people's hands and say, look, this is going to be yours regardless, then it empowers them to go out and hopefully build things, start businesses, and participate in their community. Capitalism does not work very well if people don't have money to spend.
So is this capitalism that we're talking about? It sounds rather socialist, doesn't it? That everybody's going to get a check and therefore they won't have to go to work because all these jobs are being taken by AI initially.
It's capitalism where income doesn't start at zero, Michael, and you have a consumer economy that is predicated on folks being able to participate. And if you shove millions of Americans to the curb via AI and automation, then they're not going to be able to go to their local business. They're not going to be able to meaningfully grow the economy. They're going to stay at home. They're going to end up going down internet rabbit holes and getting radicalized in many cases. So that's a loss. And so if we can get people connected in various ways, that's the direction we should go. And I'm not someone who thinks that this money is a silver bullet that's going to do the trick. I mean, you still have to convey structure, purpose, fulfillment, community, all of the rest of it that jobs traditionally have provided.
Andrew, a final question. There's an academic in the on-deck circle, and I'll bet you've read the stories. It's Dr. Yampolskiy, who's been quoted as saying that he thinks in 5 years we'll have 99% unemployment. I'll see in a moment whether he's going to stand by that prediction. How bad does Andrew Yang think it will get undeterred?
No, it's going to get bad. I certainly don't think 99% bad, but if you use this 44% of jobs subject to automation as a benchmark, and then you figure that we're going to churn through, let's say, half of those jobs over the next 10 years or so, that puts you at 30 to 40 million jobs that get eliminated. And that would be devastating. That would be catastrophic for many, many communities. And I think that's a realistic place to think we're going to be heading.
Andrew Yang, thank you for being here. Perfect guest on this day.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Wish I had better news, but
go to my website. Hopefully so. Go to my website. It's Smerconish.com. This is today's poll question. Is guaranteed income a realistic remedy for job loss due to AI? Go vote at Smerconish.com. And if you think the case for UBI sounds dramatic, as I just referenced, then listen to what one AI safety pioneer is warning. As I referenced, that 99% of workers will be unemployed by 2030. Why? Because humanoid robots and advanced models could make human labor uneconomical. Joining me now is the man who delivered that warning, University of Louisville computer science and engineering professor Dr. Roman Yampolskiy. He coined the term AI safety. He's also the author of the book AI, Unexplainable, Unpredictable, Uncontrollable. Dr. Yampolskiy, nice to see you. What is your current prediction and on what is it based?
So that's a prediction about capabilities. It doesn't mean that actual deployment in economy will follow. Just because we have technical capability to automate certain jobs does not actually mean that within the same framework it will happen. Today we have self-driving cars, but still lots of people work as truck drivers, Uber drivers. So there is a big gap between our capability, which certainly is already at between 10 and 40% of automating existing cognitive labor, not physical labor, and what is being deployed in economy. I think in 5 years, we'll have capacity to automate nearly all cognitive jobs. It doesn't mean it will actually happen on that framework.
Okay, so in 5 years, the capacity you think will exist that there could be 99% unemployment, but you don't believe that that will be the reality. Is that fair?
It is fair because a lot of times we keep certain jobs not because they're necessary, they just kind of historically grandfathered in. We call them BS jobs. Quite a few people do things which, if we fired them, nobody would have to replace them.
I asked ChatGPT what I should ask of you. Are you ready for what AI said you need to answer for? It's this.
Always.
You have said that there will be no new jobs and no viable retraining. But historically, every technological revolution has produced entirely new categories of work. So what convinces you that this time is different and that human AI complementary disappears entirely?
Yeah, we historically invented new tools for people to be more productive. And then instead of having 10 people doing something, you had one manager and 9 people looked for new jobs to do. They went through some training and got new jobs. If we get to the level of human performance with AI, we call it artificial general intelligence, AI can do anything a human can do, then the new jobs created will also be immediately taken by AI. There is never a reason to hire a human who requires high pay, gets sick, has other issues versus AI, which right now costs you $20 a month, and even that would go lower.
So parents should be advising their children to pursue what type of a career to make sure that they're immunized from this?
There is nothing immune from automation of cognitive labor. If you can do anything any human can do, if we get to that point, then no job is safe. Certain jobs will remain because people like human beings doing certain things for them. Maybe you want a human nurse, not a robot nurse. But that's a preference. Just like today, some people like man-made items, not robot-produced items.
But I imagine the trades are going to be the careers of the future, right? A plumber still needs to come to the house. A roofer needs to fix your shingles. Somebody needs to come and provide macadam to your driveway. Fill in the blank.
Right. There is multiple companies working on creating humanoid robots. They are not as advanced as AI is today, but predictions are, again, that maybe in 5 years we'll have affordable fully capable humanoid robots, capable of doing what a human laborer can.
What's your answer to my poll question? Is universal basic income or guaranteed income or Andrew Yang's freedom dividend, is that the answer to protect us?
We don't really have many choices. You cannot have majority of your population unemployed and rioting in the streets. So we definitely need to find a way to guarantee at least certain basic safety net for people. And taxing robots, taxing AI is a pretty good alternative. Historically, communism, socialism always fails because people need incentives to work. They don't want to work for free, whereas you can pretty much make robots do free labor.
Dr. Roman Yampolskiy, thank you so much for your expertise. What are your thoughts at home? Hit me up on social media. I'll read some responses throughout the course of the program. This comes from the world of X. You can follow me on X. I think we'll end up with basic income because of AI, but unless we're careful, it'll just be another way to spell poverty. Dr. Carl Hindi, I think we need purpose. If there were a way to pay for it, I mean, I guess it's very individualistic. I don't know what I would do. If there were no job for me, I got to be doing something to be protective because, you know, what do they say? Idle hands are the devil's workshop. That's what I think. Make sure you're voting on today's poll question at Smerconish.com. Is guaranteed income a realistic remedy for job loss due to AI? Up ahead, 2 National Guard members shot ambush style on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. One dead, the other fighting for his life. The suspect, an Afghan national, is in custody. An important conversation about urban crime with former ambassador to Japan, former mayor of Chicago, former White House chief of staff, and probably former a couple more things. Rahm Emanuel in just a moment. Make sure you check out my website at Smerconish.com. While you're there, sign up for the free newsletter. You'll get the work of illustrators. Come on, I love that. Love that cartoon from Steve Breen.